Welcome to Tea Time with Sue. In this episode, University President Sue Thomas sits down with Isiah Slater, a computer science and graphic design double major. Isiah was instrumental in establishing the Truman's Esports program, which began competition in the fall. In addition to being a member of the team, he also coaches the Rocket League squad that qualified for the National Association of Collegiate Esports playoffs. Let's jump into the conversation.
Isiah, I am so thrilled that you are joining me for this episode of Tea Time with Sue. And so, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself to start out?
Sure thing. Well, my name is Isiah, as you had just said. I'm the Rocket League coach for the Truman Esports here on campus. And right now I'm double majoring in computer science and art.
Okay, so talk about that, computer science and art. Why that combo?
Well, in high school, and it was very late in my high school career, I discovered the form of art, and I got really into it. But before that point, I was really into STEM, like science, technology, engineering, math.
Sure.
And so I saw computer science as a good gateway to keep me on that track as well. And as the years progressed, I found that there was a nice convergence between the two in interactive media, like on computers and stuff.
So can you give me an example of how you're doing that there? How you're bringing those both together here at Truman?
Yes, actually. And this actually goes in hand with my interest in live streaming. Something that I do for my personal live streams is I create all the assets and 3D models that I may use for my live streams. And here at the Esports Center, I'm actually working on coding an overlay that'll pull some information and statistics from the game and put it on the screen for everyone's viewing pleasure.
Well, okay, so you just talked about a whole lot of stuff in one part, so I'm going to unpack all of it. Tell me about your live streams. What do you do in your live streaming?
I'm something known as a variety streamer, so every day you can expect something a little different. Some days I'll be playing some video games with some commentary. Other days I'll be going into some art and how I approach what I do. It's just like a mystery bag. Never know what to expect.
So what made you do live streaming? Because that's putting yourself out there, right?
Right.
So anybody can see what you're doing?
Exactly. Well, actually all started whenever I got into the COVID phase of Truman State. Spending a lot of time recluse from society, the 6 feet rule. I was in my house a bunch of the time. And so I started live streaming as a way to re-engage some social practices and to get to meet new people while also applying what I'm learning from my university studies.
So you've connected with a lot of people on your live streaming?
I actually have, yeah. There's a whole group of online friends that I've made as a result.
So how do you connect with them?
Well, I stream on a Twitch, a platform called twitch.tv.
Okay.
And so as you're browsing around that website, you can click on someone's live stream. You can interact with them through a chat message system. And that's where I found some of my first friends, my first online friends. Mm-hmm. And then we all got into this social discussion platform. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called Discord. It is a great platform in which you can develop and grow communities through chatting boards, like messaging systems, all the things like that. And so I started on Twitch. There's a Discord, and it's been growing from there.
Cool. So you still do both of them?
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite thing to live stream, or do you love the fact that every day it's different?
There are two that I do have favorites for. The first one is art. I love going behind the process of 3D modeling. I love encouraging other people to 3D model. Mm-hmm. It's just a really fun hobby of mine. And then the other thing, I play competitive games. Kind of goes hand in hand with my background. Right. But I love dissecting gameplay and how you can improve as a player in that regard.
So in some ways, you're teaching through all of these.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my favorite parts about live streaming, actually, is not only are you showing your process, but you can explain the thoughts that go behind that process. And you can collaborate with some of the chat members who have their own ideas on what should happen. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of beauty that can come from that.
So is that something you want to continue to do when you graduate?
Oh, absolutely. The potential is limitless, truly.
So let's take another part of this because you kind of talked about it some, but so Truman just started esports here this year. And so I will tell you, I know about this much about esports. I'm learning more every day, but I now have an expert, right, to be able to talk to me about it.
You could say that.
I'll say that. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. So can you kind of talk to me about how esports has started at Truman, what we do? I know we have 3 games, right, that we play, but we compete in those, and at least one of our teams has done pretty well, is my understanding. So you want to give me eSport 101 at Truman to start?
Oh, here we go.
All right, I'm ready.
It all started back in, I'm going to say, spring of 2022.
Okay.
I got an email from Mike Parsons, who was the dean.
Steve Parsons.
Steve
the dean?
Parsons. Oh, thank you.
Sure.
At the time, I was the president of the gaming league here on campus,
Okay.
which in itself is an extracurricular for people to come as a community and participate in games, whether competitive or casual. But enough of the advertising.
In case anybody's interested in becoming a member. huh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, he reached out to me because I was the president. And
Okay.
so I already, at that point, had a little bit of background on what esports was about. And I helped him build a survey for what games people would be interested on competing in for Truman campus. After we sent that out, we gave it a few months to build some statistics. And then at that point, Jared Young took over the esports program. He's still the current director. He's doing a great job.
Yay.
So he invited...
Shout out to Jared, huh?
Shout out to Jared. And so he took myself and one other student, Alec Mundell, into starting the esports program from the ground up. Alec was a huge advocate for League of Legends. He's been playing the game for over 8 years.
Ooh,
and
holy
so
cow.
he had a lot of background in history, not only playing, but also educating people. He actually did some coaching for a local high school.
Oh, cool.
And so like he's already got a good proficient background on what esports should look like at an academic scene. And so us 3 started with finding a room, getting it renovated, putting the right specs into the computers, all that jazz. And then when school time finally came around, we had started with Rocket League and League of Legends as our first 2 esport titles here.
So how come Rocket League? So League of Legends makes perfect sense.
Yes.
How'd you get Rocket League?
Rocket League is not only a free-to-play game, but I also have a little bit of experience in
Okay.
it.
Good.
And it was surveyed pretty high in the polls for Truman State Esports.
Okay, so we start with those 2.
Yes.
So what does that mean, we start with those 2? We have to put together teams, we have to get into leagues. What is that?
Yes. Over the summer, we had spent some time researching what leagues to participate in. We found one called NACE. I don't actually know the acronym all the
okay.
way up, but it seemed like the perfect option for us, and so we went for that. So at that point, all we had to do was find the teams and build them. We had sent out a few interest forms in the weeks prior to school starting. And I think the first or second week of classes, we held both Rocket League and League of Legends tryouts that same weekend. And so a lot of people showed up and were interested. Some of them weren't able to make the team, but they did end up joining the program as some voluntary staff
cool.
members.
Fabulous. So what are tryouts? Is it whether you win the game or not, or how you approach the game, or how do you do tryouts for esports?
For tryouts, what we typically do is we field what roles people are interested in. In League of Legends, there's a few separate roles for where you play. And then we take all of that information and we predetermine 2 teams to go against each other, each comprised of the people from tryouts. And then after that game is played, we shuffle around the teams a little bit. And we see how people are able to adapt to their new teammates and resist getting angry if, say, they are losing a lot. We want to see if they are teachable, approachable, and, well, can play the game.
Right.
And so after recording all of the games that they have gone through, me and Alec at the time, would go through and watch the gameplay, listen to the communications going on, and then we would determine with that who we would want to be on the team.
So how many are in each team? Does it vary by the game you play?
It does. So with Rocket League, it's a 3-player game, so there's 3 on a team. And with the Legends, it's a 5-player game.
Oh.
And so there's 5 on the team.
Okay, so tell me about the room, because I've seen the room, and it's probably not what people would expect to see if they don't know anything about esports.
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. The computers may look a little normal there, but we want to misguide them. There's some really powerful computers in there capable of running, well, I guess current top titles out there in inclusion with the esport games that we offer. We decided to paint the walls purple to get some of that
Yay,
Truman spirit in
yay.
there, and decor with the Truman logo, the Truman Esports logo, put those on the walls. And then we actually got some custom ceiling tiles that are a little bit dimmer than the usual, just to give it that more calm and relaxing environment.
So where's it located if people want to check it out?
The Esports Center is located in Barnett Hall, room 2209. You'll go down a hallway. It might
Okay.
not feel like it, but you'll see a big Truman Esport logo on the wall, and that's when you know you got it.
So can people watch the teams play, or is that not something you do with esports?
That is something that we can do virtually via live streams.
Cool.
And so on twitch.tv, as mentioned earlier, we have a live streaming account called Truman Esports, where we broadcast our events as the weeks go by. And if you want to watch, that's where we'll be.
So tell me about the first 2 teams, and then we'll get to the third one that got added. But apparently, at least one of them started out really well.
Yes, that was the Rocket League team. We have.
He says without any modesty.
I mean,
Yes.
we have some very strong Rocket League talent here at Truman State University. In our first semester alone, we already qualified for playoffs for NACE.
Bravo.
For NACE Open Division.
Yay, yay.
And so I think that went beyond any expectation we had held up to that point.
Sure.
And it's making me very zealous for this upcoming semester, as the community continues to grow and flourish.
So tell me about the playoffs. So tell me about a season, right? Because a lot of people will know season for basketball, football, soccer, whatever. How does the season look for esports?
It's a little different. While the sports titles typically play within the region of Missouri, our region for Rocket League, because we're online, is a little bit bigger, and it includes actually some provinces from Canada.
Oh.
We actually played a team from Montreal as one of our qualifying playoffs. But to rewind a little bit, every week we have a match against a designated team.
Okay.
These are best of 5, so the first to 3 games can take the series. We often went to game 5. It was a really tough season.
But you did it.
But we did it. We actually were undefeated in our qualifiers.
Whoa.
We didn't drop a single match.
Wow. And so how many teams are in the league?
There are 16 in total. But as you start to qualify for playoffs, it narrows down to 8. And so we played half of the teams there, and we're determined for top seed and playoffs.
So when are playoffs?
Playoffs happen a little bit later in the semester. November is when it happened. And those games were actually best of 7. So you have to win 5 whole games in order to take home the win. And so while the beginning matches at the beginning of the semester were a bit, I guess, a show of skill, the playoffs were more a show of endurance as you continue to play against and adapt to the team who can
Sure.
adapt more and more frequently. And it was intense.
But cool intense?
It was awesome.
It was awesome intense. So do you guys wear uniforms?
We're actually getting some ordered this semester.
Yay.
We got designs ready to purchase. We are just waiting for the Super Smash Brothers tryouts to end so that we can get everyone on the same page and order them all at the same time.
Cool. Okay, so talk about adding the third game.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Okay. So, as you know, I was the previous president of the Gaming League. Super Smash Brothers was hands down the most popular title there. And so what we had done is reached out to the new Gaming League, and we wanted to include them into the esports scene. I personally know that we have some really strong talent in Smash Brothers as well. We have some people who have placed top 8 in some regional competitions. And so I knew that we have what it takes to keep up with the rest of the collegiate scene.
Right.
And so this semester, we're hoping to recruit about 8 to 10 players. Smash Brothers is a 4v4 based, I guess, rule set. But yeah.
So do you all practice when you're not playing, or do you just play and learn from there?
There's a lot that you can do to improve as a player. Obviously, the most important thing is to play the game, get your hands in there. But beyond just getting muscle memory, esports is a very, very mental game. You have to make sure that you can stay calm and you can learn about what holes the opponents have in their defenses and exploit those. And as the game progresses, they're going to learn to close those holes, but new ones will open. And so you just got to keep up and you got to keep focused. I'd say is the most important thing.
Very cool. Because like I said, I knew very little about all of this.
Oh yeah, it's quite the new show.
So do you guys rotate through? So some of you get the Esports Center for a period of time and another group gets it, and is that how it works?
Basically, we have the League of Legends coach send their students time sheets where we can see what time is available for all the players, and then they will designate that time as the League of Legends time. I'll do the same thing for the Rocket League players, and we'll hopefully be doing the same thing for the Smash players too.
So is there a place that we can all find online that shows when you will all be playing, and then we can connect into the live stream?
Yes, actually, that's on our social media pages. It's another ad time.
All right, go.
If you go to twitter.com or Instagram and search up Truman Esports, you will find all of the relevant information for when we will be playing, when our live streams are happening, and all that jazz, as well as a few fun other tidbits.
Cool. Okay, say it again so everybody knows where to go.
Okay, at Truman Esports.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to take a hard left, right? Because we're talking about live streaming and gaming and technology and all that kind of stuff. I hear you also bake.
Oh yes, I love
Do tell.
baking. It started way back 2014 actually, but I just found my a profound love. I have a really big sweet tooth.
Oh, me too.
Oh hey.
I live on sugar.
Don't we both? But I really like eating sweets, right? I love preparing sweets too. I love giving like goofy spin-offs to the traditional way that things are done. For context, my family hosts like a yearly dessert competition. And so
cool.
around Christmas time. And so every year I try to bring something goofy, but also very delicious to the table. One year I did Krabby Patties, where I made cupcakes. I cut them in half and put a brownie in the middle, and then like put all different colors of icing to represent the ketchup, the lettuce, the cheese.
Cool. Cool. Do you win?
We won most creativity.
Not taste?
Not taste.
No.
Some people are really devoted to winning that competition.
So how big is this competition in your family?
I'd say it's actually open to our extended family.
Okay.
And so there's like 4 families competing. And I was going to say the count usually goes around 15 to 20 participants.
So who judges?
Everyone does. We vote and we tally up the points, and the person with the most points wins the gold medal for that category. We have most creative. We have the best tasting, and I think that's it actually.
So are there really gold medals?
No.
No, you need really gold medals.
We have
made
bragging
out of
rights,
chocolate.
and that carries. Oh, whoa! You're right.
Yeah,
Chocolate gold
see?
medals.
See?
That's amazing.
So who were the winners this past year?
Oh,
Do you remember?
I don't actually.
Oh, since you didn't win, you're not going to pay attention to who
Right.
won, huh?
It's irrelevant
It's
at
that
that point.
competition part of you, huh?
If I don't get the bragging rights, there were no bragging rights to begin with.
I'm very impressed. I love to bake too. Not that I have a whole lot of time to do it now, but
Right.
creativity, maybe I could win on. I'll always win on taste.
Yeah,
Always win on taste. Yes, and I never put fruit in my desserts because then it doesn't count.
Oh yeah. I'll have to take notes. When are you teaching?
We can share recipes.
Ooh, yes.
I'll get you set up for next competition.
Thank you.
All right, so we have come to one of my favorite parts of this. And as you know, I usually pull something out of the teapot. But when I
Right.
have guests, I now have the opportunity for you to pull something out of the teapot and answer it. So feel free, open it on up and grab one. All right, what you get?
Let's see. How do you hope people feel when they're around you? I hope they feel comforted. They feel welcome to speak their mind. And they feel welcome to to learn some 3D modeling.
All right, so you push the 3D modeling, huh?
Oh, I'm a big advocate of it. There's a software that is completely free to download, and there are tutorials on YouTube that are completely free to follow. And so it's a skill that can easily be built up, and it's a really powerful one as we're going into a new wave of, I guess, technological art.
Right. So if somebody doesn't know 3D modeling, explain it really quickly.
You are basically creating shapes and forms inside of your computer that can be used for game design, for animation, or just for some crazy looking posters.
So I'll give you a chance to plug again. So your live stream, when you do this 3D modeling and people want to see it, how can they follow it?
I actually have an online alias.
Okay.
You can follow me at twitch.tv/Awesopossum. Good luck spelling that one. I took awesome and opossum. I cut awesome over at the O. I got rid of everything afterwards.
Okay.
I just tagged on opossum to the end.
Okay.
And
So everybody, we're all smart here. We can follow how
yeah,
that's spelled. Yeah.
might need to rewind the video a few times to
See
just
it.
figure
Yeah,
it out,
yeah,
like just
yeah.
chart it down.
So it's awesome.
Awesopossum.
Awesopossum. Awesopossum. It's been such a pleasure having you with me today. Thanks for explaining esports and letting us know how amazingly our team is doing and the new team. And I'm thrilled to hear we have lots of talent. I'm not surprised. And I mean, starting for this year, holy cow, where we can go from here is just amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited for this semester, both in terms of what the players can put out, as well as what our staff team is doing. There's a lot of potential, and you'll see it all come to fruition this semester.
Thank you for bringing another cool thing to Truman.
Well, of course. I'm so glad that Truman is giving us the opportunity to explore and develop these new areas into Truman life.
Cool. Thanks so much. It's been great.
It's been an honor.
Thanks for listening to Tea Time with Sue. Subscribe to the podcast to stay in the know for when new episodes are released. Do you know students, faculty, and staff at Truman who make it such a unique and special place? Guests for Tea Time with Sue can be nominated at truman.edu/teatime. Watch for the next episode when Sue is joined by Jamie D'Agostino, Associate Professor of English.